Look, I'm down with LSU too. You guys know my roots are in Louisiana. There's a town named Broussard.
Cincinnati,
Streets,
and
restaurants
Cleveland,
in the French
the
Quarter
aquarium.
named Broussard. Yeah, but that's the roots. The roots are in Louisiana. Plus, I'm light-skinned like Ben too, all right? But still, I'm with Shaq on this. Ben is being a crap. How can anybody respect what Ben Simmons is doing? I cannot respect it. Because your coach said I don't know if we can win with him. Do you know if my daughters came home and said their field hockey coach had said in high school, my coach said they don't know if they can win with me. You know what I would say? Well, get out there and prove your coach wrong. Don't come to me crying. And this is a problem. All right, I'm totally with Shaq. Ben Simmons has become the poster child for entitled millennials. Or entitled Gen Zers, whatever he is.
Oh my God.
This is ridiculous. And if I'm another team, I am questioning what would I get if I trade for Ben Simmons. He's a great talent. I loved him at LSU. I think his game was spectacular there. But now I got to wonder, what am I getting with Ben Simmons? If I trade for him, does he love the game? He's really willing to sit out an entire season at age 25 when you are on one of the best teams in the league and legitimately have a chance to get to the finals. You're willing to sit that out because the coach said something you don't like? A coach who defended you all year long actually embarrassed himself sometimes in defending Ben Simmons. I'm with Shaq 110%. I also would wonder if I'm another team, is he over this mental block? I haven't seen him play since he refused to take a layup. All right? What's to tell me that mental block will just vanish once he leaves Philadelphia? So this is a problem. Ben's got to just man up, man. When I start playing Pee Wee football wilds, all the older boys in the neighborhood said, man, you got to be tough. Coach is going to yell at you. You got to man up. I was 8 years old. You're 25, man. Come on. Shaq is right. He shouldn't apologize at all.
I thought that it was interesting, and Shaq addressed it again last night on Inside the NBA. Shaq said he was going to lay off of him. And I thought the biggest takeaway was I liked that Ben pushed back. And they had a conversation that Shaq didn't want to talk about. But Shaq said, I'm going to lay off of him. And Nick, that's what I think is the key to unlocking this stalemate between Ben, the Sixers, and what we think is the city of Philadelphia. Just honesty and a public conversation like, hey, here's how I'm feeling. And I know Philadelphia has been painted as this mean city, this sort of emotionless city, an unsympathetic city. I don't buy it. I think if Ben came out and honestly said whatever he's told to Shaq, where Shaq said, okay, I respect that, I won't speak on it anymore, I think the city of Philadelphia would come close to embracing Ben again.
It's hard to do,
and
man.
A lot of the fears that he has are built up a little bit too much. I think that is true. The city supported him. It's not like he all of a sudden got bad at shooting or all of a sudden got bad at free throws.
Of course.
He's been bad, and they always cheered him.
But no, that's fair. So I have 2 points here. One about Ben and then the other about Shaq's podcast. The point about Ben is this. And listen, Ben's folks might get mad at me for saying this, but this is actually a defense of him. The idea that this is about Doc Rivers saying something, mean about him in the moment after the worst loss of the season, their season-ending loss, is utter and complete nonsense. That is being used, and by the way, if that were the reason you weren't playing, then I would fully agree with Shaq. But that is not why Ben isn't playing. That is being used as a justification for something that I think Ben maybe finds more embarrassing, but he should not be embarrassed about. It is absolutely, the root cause here is a fear of failure, a fear of embarrassment, and a fear of being publicly vulnerable, which, by the way, every human being I've ever met deals with to varying degrees. So that is where I think you could get people more on your side, is if it's like, hey, nobody likes being embarrassed. For me, it's crippling. Of course. For me, this is where I believe Ben about the psychology being a big part of this. There is an element of, I've used this example before, I will use it again, it's an awkward one, but I had my shoulder reconstructed at the end of high school. And they told me, like, to rehab it, you need to do, like, these types of exercises, these types of weight exercises. Go to a gym and do it. But because I had just had my shoulder reconstructed, I literally could only lift 3 pounds. So I just didn't do it. It was too mortifying. I go to the gym, the weights I need to use are literally pink and soft and fuzzy. I'm like, not doing it. And to this day, I don't have full mobility in my arm. I was like, I won't do it.
That was actually a good call.
So I think there is an element of, I do all these things well. The thing I don't do well, you want me to do on a public stage, shoot the basketball. I won't do it. And so I'm not saying it's an excuse, Brew. He's a pro athlete. They pay him a bunch of money. It's his job. I understand all of that. But I think that is far more understandable than Doc and Embiid hurt my feelings. That's the point I would make. And then lastly, can I just give a shout out to Nichelle Turner?
Because it's easier because you can blame someone else. Sorry.
Absolutely, Jenna. Nichelle Turner, the woman on Shaq's podcast. There's a million podcasts now. Athletes have all this access in the world. And the problem with almost all of them is you get AB on and he's like, I'm the best player on the team. Everyone wants me. Hey, what do you... And all the hosts are like, yeah, AB, you're right. Good call, buddy. What else do you want to tell us? Nichelle Turner is working on Shaq's podcast and grilled him. She's like, what did he say? Give us more. Come on, Shaquille O'Neal. And she's his colleague.
Great call.
She did a great job there, pulling as much as she could have. A lot of folks in the podcast business could learn from her. Good job, Nichelle Turner.
Hey, Broussard, how much trouble are the Nets in?
It's bad. I think they're 4-6 with Kyrie since he's been back. Obviously, KD is out. They don't have any leadership on the floor. Maybe not on the bench. They look bad. But here's the thing, and Nick, you alluded to this with the Lakers in the West. The silver lining for the Nets, obviously they have a ton of talent at the top of the roster. Who in the East looks terrific? Who in the East scares you? I would contend that Milwaukee is probably the only team in the East that still could beat Brooklyn in a playoff series. And that's not a slam dunk. If Brooklyn's healthy, it'll be a good series.
It's a slam dunk.
Miami is tough. They're well coached, so you might give them a shot. Philadelphia, they don't have their second best player. Chicago, they're young. Cleveland, they're young.
I don't believe in Chicago.
So Milwaukee, sure. Chris Middleton's having a little bit of a down. He's an all-star legitimately, but he's having a little bit of a down year from what he did last year. Now maybe Milwaukee, Nick, is like, our regular season doesn't matter anymore. We got the championship. We'll get ready for the playoffs. We used to see that with LeBron's teams in Cleveland the second go-round. So maybe that's it. But they don't look terrific. So Brooklyn is far from out of contention in the Eastern Conference.
I totally disagree.
But they're not playing well at all. They have no shot in the East.
No shot.
That's what you're saying.
None. That is what I'm saying. They could not give Milwaukee a good series. They might not get to Milwaukee.
Really? They did
because the team, they don't. Have you guys watched Harden since Kyrie's been back? I don't know what changed. I know Harden played great with Kyrie last year, seemed to really enjoy it. There's a great, I'll retweet it because I'm not the one who put it together, a great 10-clip compilation of Harden's abysmal effort in this very Kings game. Harden scored 4, and it's not just offensively, it's mostly defensively, actually. Harden looks checked out, Wilds. They're 6-10 since Kyrie returned. The idea that this team, well, all we have is Harden and Kyrie, and you're going to lose to the Nets, and then, lose to the Kings, and after the game, Kyrie's being like, well, teams are doing playoff adjustments on us. Playoff adjustments? There's not a player on the Kings who was in kindergarten the last time they made the playoffs. They don't know nothing about playoff adjustments in Sacramento. They just know they beat you. I watch the Nets and I say, this is barreling towards another playoff exit before you even get to the conference finals, let alone the NBA finals. And there are a lot, Wilds, a lot of similarities to me, even though the players are very different. And what's going in the franchise decision, we're all in. We're trading all our future for KG and Paul Pierce. And that won them one playoff series. And now they are in year 3 of KD, Kyrie, trading all the stuff for Harden. And what? I mean, they've won one playoff series. They'll probably win one playoff series this year. I think the Nets are in massive trouble. Durant's so sensational when he comes back, he'll make it look better. But I don't think Harden's happy to be there. I think Harden is on his way out, and Kyrie has a million things going on.
I think you're 100% right. To me, it looks like a dinner party, Jenna, where you got 5 couples, and you got the one couple out of 5. It's like, ugh, you guys pretty much want to get divorced, huh? And here are the 5 couples. It's all 4 teams that went to the finals. The Heat, that team loved each other with Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero. The Lakers, the whole thing was how much they loved each other. They all go out to dinner together, and Dwight Howard's happy and having fun. The Bucks totally loved each other. All of Milwaukee loved the Bucks. And Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and Devin Booker have come together with Monty Williams and become this beautiful unit. And then you have Kyrie and Harden and Durant barely holding on at the dinner table at the end. You're like, okay, like we're going to go early. Like, okay, see you later. I don't think they make the finals, Jen.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.